Good morning, everybody that's here. I'm Jeff Mayfield, and I am the Vice President of the Advisory Council, and Dave Yonke was not able to make it today, and so I am filling in his stead. So welcome, everybody. I think we'll just start by what we always do and take our roll call, and probably easiest, Anna, if you control that.
Yes,
so
thank
go
you.
ahead.
Okay, so first we'll start with Richard Abramowitz. Robin, tell me if I'm saying this right. Alanis?
Yes, that's correct. And I'm here.
Judge Dillard?
Over time? She had to unmute. We're here.
We're here. I'm here.
Okay.
Thanks.
Brock Lively?
Good morning, everybody.
Jeff Mayfield?
I am here. Good morning.
Scott Pasternak?
Scott said he was going to arrive on a little bit late. Yeah, he's on an airplane, and he thought he may or may not make it by 10, but he'll be joining shortly.
Okay, he'll probably be here for the second round of roll call. Frank Pugsley? Chuck Rivett?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Steve Shannon?
Good morning.
Scott Trebus?
Good morning, everyone.
And Risa Weinberger.
Risa, you didn't come through, but I saw you unmute.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you. Great. Okay.
All righty. So our first item, did you also, there's no need to go over the guests, is there?
No.
Okay, very good. Okay, so our first item that we have is a Waste Permits Division update, and Charlie Fritz will take care of that. Charlie, I turn it over to you.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I'm Charlie Fritz, Deputy Director of the Waste Permits Division. So I usually give the division updates. So kind of not a lot division-wide, agency-wide, a couple things, and then I'll get into legislative. That'll probably be where most of our discussion is. So a couple rulemakings are going on that pertain agency-wide. First, the compliance history rulemaking was proposed yesterday. This is sunset related from, I guess, 2+ years ago. But the Sunset Committee recommended the agency recalculate compliance history more often and look at how we calculate repeat violators and enforcement penalties related to repeat violators. And then we're also looking, we're looking at how the kind of the thresholds between unsatisfactory rating and satisfactory. So that rulemaking was proposed yesterday. The comment period starts, I'm going to say today, but I actually don't think that's correct now that I'm thinking through how the process works. So, but there is a comment period. There's a 30-day comment period. It should start soon, if not today or yesterday. But that rulemaking is going on. And so for everybody here, compliance history, every site and every operator, regulated entity has a compliance history rating. Unsatisfactory, satisfactory. What's the top one? TCQ, what's the top one? I'm blanking on what
high.
The high says, high rate, something like that.
Yeah.
High, medium, and low. Okay. And then, so if you're unsatisfactory, there are certain things TC can do. we look at compliance history rating every time we review an application, whether it's a new permit, a mod, but we look at compliance history rating to see. And if somebody is unsatisfactory, there are things we can take in the permit, especially if the violations are related to, for example, are related to MSW. We could put additional conditions in the permit. We can make you provide more information in your application. There can be more monitoring requirements for unsatisfactory performers. Compliance related, TCEQ can conduct unannounced inspections, unannounced scheduled inspections for unsatisfactory performers, and then the penalties for enforcement actions can also be higher. So, like I said, that rulemaking was proposed yesterday at commission agenda, so the comment period will start soon. The other one is related to public notice. This one has been kicked around for a while now. This is also sunset related. It mostly stemmed from public notices related to air permits. So most of the sunset comments were related to the public comment period, the public notices related to air permits. But we also took this opportunity to look at the entire Chapter 39 rules, which is the public notice rules. So this rulemaking will be proposed at agenda on July 23rd, so 2 weeks from yesterday. And you can see the backup material. The backup material is posted. Like I said, most of the changes are related to air. Most of the substantive changes are related to air. The changes you'll see in the waste-related sections, a lot of them are just reformatting, providing more clarity, and there's not really a lot of substantive changes. Right now, from sunset, the sunset recommendation was to have 36 hours, extend the comment period 36 hours after a public meeting for air permits, for specific certain air permits. The agency spent a lot of time going back and forth. For a while, it was going to be 36 hours for all permits, and then it went back to just air permits. And so we've gone back and forth on that for a while. What is proposed in that rulemaking, my understanding is that it's back to the 36 hours, the extending the comment period after a public meeting is just for certain air permits right now. So that's what's back in the proposed rules. Again, this will have a comment period. And so that comment period will start after the July 23rd meeting.
Charlie, before you move on, the compliance history one, did you say the comment period is 30 days right now, or will be?
Yes.
Whenever it opens? Okay.
Yeah, once I stop talking, I will go look to see exactly when that comment period starts. If it starts, because we have to publish in the Texas Register, and that's not automatic. So it either started yesterday or when we published. So I will go look to see when that is.
Okay.
Any other questions about those rulemakings? Okay. Additionally, we have sent out, this actually also came from Sunset. We are now allowing people to sign up to receive public notices via email. And so you sign up through our Office of the Chief Clerk, and it can be, previously, you could sign up to receive mailed public notices based on the county that you are located in. Now we're drilling down a little bit more specific and getting down into zip codes so you can receive any public notice, any TCQ public notices based on the zip code, the county, or for specific applications. For right now, we are still for permit applications for people specifically like on adjacent landowner list. We are still sending out mailed notices, and the emails will be additional. So, but the chief clerk handles, the agency and the chief clerk handles the mail out of those notices. but that's just so you may see. So yeah, the mailing list may grow, but that came from sunset of additional ways for the agency to provide public notices to people other than the standard mail.
So if you have an application with a public notice, do you, when you're providing the address list, would we be contacting the chief clerk's office for email also, or the clerk's office is going to handle the emailing?
The chief clerk handles the emailing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so
Thanks for
nothing
clarifying.
changes on your end. You still have to do the public notice in the newspapers. Still have to place a copy of the application in a public location. The email part is handled by the chief clerk. So that's why it's going to be supplemental in many cases, at least at the beginning while we figure out the process. People that sign up to receive emails will still receive the mail copy, and then will also receive an email if they sign up for email.
Okay.
That's division updates. Getting into legislative updates. Any other questions about division updates? Okay, getting into legislative updates. I will share, we had 5 bills passed that the division, the Waste Permits Division, directly analyzed. And so I'll go over those. I'll share the language in chat. I was just trying to make sure. Actually, we'll probably email them afterwards. The chat is a little weird about sharing. If people show up afterwards, they don't have access to it. So we will email y'all a copy of the bills that passed after the meeting. Like I said, 5 bills passed and then 1 that's relevant that is handled by another division. First up is HB 3071. This required TCQ to cancel certain MSW permits that are located in certain counties based off population and location if that permit had been inactive for 25 years or more, or not accepting waste is the language in the bill. So what we've done with this bill is we have there was 1 permit impacted by this legislation. We've contacted that operator, that permittee, and told them they're no longer to accept waste. They're no longer authorized to accept waste. We're working through the details on this one, on if we're going to do rulemaking related to this legislation or not. So we're still going through all the legal aspects of determining if we need to implement this bill or not. It does, while it impacted 1 permit today, it could impact permits in the future. So that's why we're determining if we need to do rulemaking or not. Second bill, Chuck.
Charlie, does 25 years, does that include sites that may have permitted but never opened?
The bill, we went through this. It is, let me look that up. Megan, do you remember?
I don't know that it's really specific. When I read it, it could be interpreted either way.
Yeah. It said never accepted waste. I'm trying to grab the bill.
Does it say never? Yeah.
Has not accepted waste for a period of 25 years. Yeah, so we would take that as has not accepted waste. So yeah, somebody that had a permit but never constructed.
Yeah, so there may be more than 1 impacted, but maybe not. I don't know.
We maintained a list going through this legislation. Okay. We had a list that had both inactive and not constructed, and
okay, perfect.
There was and the counties were pretty limiting. So that we do have
Yeah.
a longer list of permits that have not received, that have been inactive or not constructed for any period of time. We have a list of those facilities. The counties, the specific counties impacted by this bill narrows that list down greatly. And then
Sure.
and then the 25-year narrowed the list down to one permit.
Okay. Thanks much.
Yep. The second bill is HB 3229. This one is more on the industrial side, the industrial and hazardous waste side. So we're going to be doing rulemaking in Chapter 335, but it may be relevant to y'all. What it does is it says that a recycling facility, granted is using that term generally, recycling, that accepts and processes materials from the wind turbine farms, the solar farms, the battery energy storage systems. So recycling facilities that accept waste materials from those, that if they accept it and don't process them. So if they're storing material as of January 15th, let me check that date. But basically, yeah, if you're storing material and you haven't processed it and sent it off site, you have to report the amount of material to TCEQ. And then also maintain financial assurance based on that. So what this bill, it's trying to prevent people from sham recycling of, the big one right now is the wind turbine blades. People accepting those blades and for a fee and then not doing anything with them. I'm pretty sure you've all heard there's sites out in West Texas, Sweetwater, that have large amounts. So that's what this bill is getting at, is those types of facilities, to make sure they are not sham recycling, they are accepting material and moving it off site. And if they do have storage material, they maintain financial assurance for it. Like I said, this one is probably more related to industrial and hazardous waste. And we're going to be doing rulemaking in Chapter 335, which is the industrial and hazardous waste rules, not the municipal waste rules. But just in case y'all do, if you're doing any recycling associated with the wind turbine blades, solar farms, and I say farms, but if you look at the language in the bill, it's actually any of those components. It doesn't have to come from a solar farm. It's if you're recycling batteries from a energy storage facility, it falls under this bill. So it's looking at those components from those types of the energy producing facilities.
Charlie, I just pulled up that bill, and the language you were wondering about, January 15, that is correct. The report's due January 15 each year.
Yes. And so that one, we're figuring out the reporting requirements, when people have to report, what will be on that form, what they tell us, what information we want on that form. So we're going to be sending out a kind of a draft form to stakeholders for input on, is this too much information? Is this enough information? What all should be reported to us annually? So we'll be working with stakeholders on that one. If you want to be aware of that one, you would need to sign up for our industrial and hazardous waste newsletter, and we can share information. It's kind of the same process for signing up for the MSW newsletter. Next up is HB 4413. This one is a simpler bill. It adds renewable biomass and renewable chemicals as terms that can be considered under mass balance attribution systems. So this one, this has kind of been an expansion from advanced recycling to allowing mass balance attribution systems and the certification systems. This one expands that one to include the biomass and renewable chemicals. HB 5057, this one does pertain to y'all. This one actually does not have a lot of TCQ impact. This one is about the exclusive service contracts. And then, like I said, this one, we don't have rulemaking related to, or we don't have rules related to the service contract. So this pertains to y'all. We won't be doing any rulemaking related to this one.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the number, please?
5057.
Thank you.
HB 5057. And then the last one directly related to waste permits is Senate Bill SB 2078. And this was the composting bill. This one says an NOI compost facility cannot accept food waste from a city. This one's really hard to explain. So an NOI compost facility cannot accept food waste from a city in another county if that city has a diversion ordinance. So this does impact statewide. The only relevant city right now is City of Austin. City of Austin has a diversion ordinance that says food waste from hotels, businesses, food restaurants can't be sent to the landfill. And so because City of Austin has that food waste needs to stay in Travis County. There are some exclusions in that, but that's the broad explanation of that. We will update. We're probably not going to do rulemaking because the statute is in Chapter 364 of the Health and Safety Code. Instead, we're just going to update our composting forms to ask the applicant to confirm they're not going to accept food waste from a city that has a ban if they're outside that county. Risa?
Charlie, I got a question.
Mhm.
It's my understanding that facilities that are already in operation that are accepting waste under these conditions, in other words, across county lines, or accepting food, are exempted, so that they're basically being grandfathered. Is that the case?
Yes. Yes, there are 3 exclusions. One of that is what Risa just explained, that if they were approved and already accepting that food waste from the City of Austin prior to January 1st, 2025, they can continue to do that. So they're grandfathered. The other exclusion is agricultural composting activities. And the third one is if the county commissioners of the county where the proposed facility is located approve that facility, pass an ordinance approving that facility to accept waste, the food material from City of Austin. So those are the 3 exclusions.
Thanks.
And then the last bill to let y'all know about is Senate Bill 1663. This will be implemented through, I believe, the Water Quality Division, but it's about groundwater notification procedures. So there are rules in the Water Code, Chapter 7, about how the agency notifies surrounding communities related to groundwater contamination. And this is an agency-wide bill. This isn't specific to MSW. So this bill changes those procedures around. It does say that nearby landowners' property on this one actually says residences, so people living there it adds notification via email or placing a notice on the door of the residence. So it gives a little bit more flexibility. But what it also does is it expands the people that have to be notified to a 1-mile radius. Previously, it was just those that were impacted by the groundwater contamination. And this one, like I said, this one's being implemented by the Water Quality Division, maybe toxicology. So I don't know the specific implementation plan for that bill. That's all. Any questions legislative wise? And that's all I have.
Thank you, Charlie. It was a good update. Appreciate that. Let's see. It looks like Anna, you're doing round 2 of the roll call.
Right. So Richard Bromwitz, he's having trouble, unmuting. So I know he's in there now. So I have him.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. I can hear you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
And last one is Scott Pasternak. All right. So, thanks.
Okay. So next up, we have Megan Henson giving the MSW permit section update.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I'm Megan Henson. I'm the section manager for MSW permits. And I'll start off with some great news. We currently have no vacancies in this section. So we're excited to have a fully staffed team and keep working on those permits, reports, and other applications that we get. Moving on to the number of applications that we have under review. We currently have 22 permits and 4 registrations. This is consistent with other reports that I've given over the past couple of years, so we're staying consistently busy. We did receive all of the 2024 annual reports from the different facilities and landfills. We're wrapping up the analysis of those reports, and we're drafting the final report for publication. We do expect to publish this in early October. And as always, we'll have a few hard copies available. We're seeing more of a demand for electronic copies, so a link will be posted as well. And we will also, similar to last year, we'll be posting this in Spanish as well. We had Trade Fair in June of this year in San Antonio. It was a successful trade fair. We had a good variety of topics, got some really good feedback. We really tried to get some different perspectives. NCTCOG, or North Central Texas Council of Governments, they gave a presentation on the regional experience of creating a recycling program. So that was well attended, and we appreciate them coming out. Along with our other presentations that we had, it was overall good attendance. It was a different venue. We're usually at the Austin Convention Center. This time we're in the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio. I think a couple members that I saw noted, it is a very large venue. So bring your walking shoes next year for sure. We are already looking ahead for the 2026 trade fair. I know we just ended, but no rest. We got to keep moving forward. We are considering a theme around groundwater monitoring systems and groundwater monitoring. We're hoping to time this with the new groundwater e-reporting that's under development right now. But we'd really love to hear from y'all on if there's any specific topics related to groundwater monitoring that we should cover, or if you have any suggestions for outside speakers. We love getting that perspective from either consultants or landfill operators and owners. So feel free to reach out if you have any ideas for that. Moving on to rulemaking. We are scoping right now for a couple different rulemaking projects. We'll definitely come back with more details, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on some things that we're considering, and we can discuss a little bit more today. One thing that I mentioned a couple of meetings ago was biodigesters, getting these biodigesters, which is a new technology. It's not brand new, but we're seeing more of a demand, and we're working out different ways that we could have these authorized through TCEQ. So one idea that we're looking at specifically for source separated organic waste, like source separated food waste or manure, would be having it as a notification under chapter 330.11. There's other notifications items there, like a low volume transfer station, a citizens collection station. So we're looking at putting biodigesters in there, again, source separated being the key part of that. If a biodigester accepts things like sludge, that would kick it to a type 5 or mixed MSW permit. We're looking at that still kicking it to the permit level. Mixed MSW would need a permit. So I can pause there. I know this is lots to think about, so feel free to send comments or questions that you have, but any thoughts y'all have, I'd love to hear on this proposal or this idea.
Do you anticipate that you'll have, would there be a need for like a stakeholder group or anything like that? Or are you thinking you'll just propose some rules and address any issues that or maybe suggestions or whatever through comments? Or what do you envisioning?
For this one, we'd like to work with MSWRRAC and any stakeholder. We'll have, when we do go to proposal, we will obviously go through the formal stakeholder comment period, but we'd also like to use MSWRRAC as an outlet as well as our newsletter so we can solicit feedback. So we're not going to form a separate stakeholder group for just the biodigesters.
Okay.
But we definitely want stakeholder input, so feel free to spread the word about this idea. And like I said, we're still scoping. This was just one of the ideas that we had.
Hey, Megan, this is Chuck. Can you broaden, how do you view the definition of biodigester?
So that's a good question, because we have seen few different operations proposed. Essentially, what we've seen broadly is that there is a vessel that will accept different organic wastes that come in. A slurry is made of some kind. There's also gas produced that will typically be pulled and used as energy production. And then the slurry that is generated can potentially be this would have to be approved, but there's different uses like mixing it in with compost or using it potentially as land application. But again, that is not MSW permits, so there's still discussion on any land application of the digestate.
Okay, so it's essentially in vessel anaerobic digestion.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Just following up on that, it sounds like you're talking about anaerobic digestion and not biochar.
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
Anaerobic digestion. And the one benefit of putting it in 330.11, if you look at like low volume transfer stations, there's still criteria that has to be met, and specific requirements that the owner of something like low volume transfer station has to follow. And we could build that in with the biodigesters as well, making sure that there's controls put in, because we understand that there's, food waste, there's potential, and with any putrescible waste, there's things that need to be managed properly and any potential contamination mitigated before it's an issue. So we could slide those into 330.11. All right. The other thing that we're looking at for rulemaking right now is improving the rules for subchapter T. This is the rules related to developing over a closed landfill. I think I mentioned this at a previous meeting that we're scoping, trying to get some better guidance, better structure, clarification on what's required. One thing that's different about subchapter T applicants overall is it can be a different applicant pool. We have a lot of private developers that are developing over like unknown dump sites compared to, say, a city-owned closed landfill where the city decides they want to develop over it. They're familiar with waste. So because this is a different applicant pool, we do have some consultants who are new to MSW, but we also have some that have been working with MSW for a long time. But we'll need help reaching this key stakeholder group when we begin stakeholder involvement for the Subchapter T rules. So we're going to, mention it on MSWRRAC for sure. We'll mention it in our newsletters. We'll have it on our website. But if y'all have any ideas on how to get the word out to this different applicant pool, different stakeholder group than what's typically the waste industry, that would be really helpful. And again, you don't have to provide ideas now, but if you have any, feel free to share them. All right. Oh, go ahead, Shannon or Steve.
Good report. Thank you. I'm wanting to back up just a little bit back to the legislative stuff. Charlie, one of the things that you mentioned, maybe you can help me just understand this. If a landfill closes, they still have responsibility, right, for 30 years. Is that correct? On the closure, the post-closure care of that facility. Is that right?
Yes, landfills have, and it's varying depending on when the landfill permit was issued. Today's landfills, anything permitted after the Subtitle D rules in 93, have a 30-year period. Type 4s have a shorter period, 5-year, but there is a post-closure care period that landfills have to go through to demonstrate there's no lasting environmental impacts. Landfills permitted before Subtitle D, closure was different. There's still rules about closure and post-closure care, just the timing is different.
Okay, that's a good explanation. Let me ask, so if a landfill closes and they're under the 30-year or 5-year post-closure care requirements, their permit is still active in that case, is that right? Until the 30 years is over with?
Correct. We do not, so yes, a permit, basically a permit's active accepting waste, then it goes through closure. The permit is still active. We still keep the permit. They still have the requirements of the permit, and then post-closure care happens. So there's still a permit related to that facility. Okay. So this HB 3071 that canceled permits on something that's been languishing out there for 25 years. In other words, this place is 25 years past the 30-year closure, or did it never even have post-closure? It was one of those that is a pre-Subtitle D landfill. And so there are different rules. If you noticed, I said canceled their ability to accept and dispose waste. We are still working through all the details of closure and post-closure care, how we deal with those rules when the statute says TCQ will cancel the permit. So that's also what we're figuring out with, do we need to do rulemaking or not? So we're working through all that. That is, we let the bill author know when this bill was being proposed that there are rules about closure and post-closure care for landfills that accept waste. We just can't go cancel a permit because somebody's been inactive 25 years if they've accepted waste. So we're working through all that. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your explanation. Yeah.
Looks like Risa has her hand up.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got a question, Megan. I believe at the April meeting, you mentioned that there was some consideration of revising the compost landfill fee rebate rules. And I'll be honest, I didn't totally capture exactly what you were saying was being proposed. Do you have an update on that issue at all?
Yeah, that was actually Santos who had a presentation on that.
Okay.
Santos, did you have an update, or Charlie?
Yeah, so last meeting we did talk about compost. We presented an outline of the compost rebate program where facilities, if you have a plan approved by TCEQ, you can get a certain amount of 15 up to 20% of the fees paid if you do specific compost activities at the landfill. And then it was really, we don't have any new updates. We are, it was kind of just putting the conversation out there to start the conversation. See what comments we get. It's still, we have not made any action on it. We have not made any decisions on it. As y'all talk with people, you can bring it up. If you see landfills that have it, talk with them on how it's going. But it is a program where I think the agency rebates a little less than $1 million per quarter. And so it's just one of those where, does the compost industry still need that rebate program? Do the landfills and the compost program still need this program to exist? The program was created when the compost rules, my understanding is when the compost rules started, the compost program started to help incentivize and expand the compost program. So it's been going on 30 years now. Is the program still needed? That's kind of what the conversation we're starting.
Okay, well, I missed the nuance there that what you were looking at was reevaluating whether it's still necessary. I'll just tell you that I've worked with a bunch of composters that have participated in that program, and I can kind of circle those and talk to them and get their input, but I can also alert the Texas Composting Council that it's an issue that, could be considered and they may want to weigh in.
Okay. We'd be happy to, if you want to schedule a meeting with either of those groups, entities, we'd be happy to sit down and talk and kind of lay out the data we have and just go through that conversation.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
That covers all my updates. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Megan. I really appreciate that. Okay, I guess speaking of Santos, you're up next, talking about business program services section update. I guess specifically the advisory council application status. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. We did send this. So we opened up accepting applications for nominations for the council here a few months ago, and we got 10 applications for 6 positions. We did go to the commission agenda yesterday, and just to let y'all know, the commissioners were all very thankful and wanted for us to express their thanks to you all for your involvement and on the council, and also for all the work that you do. They did provide appointments of 6 individuals. The first 2 being for positions that are being vacated and have a expiration date of August 31st, 2027. And for those, it is Thomas Parker of All American Tire, and that position is for a registered waste tire processor. Also, for a representative from a planning region, we have Ken May with the Capital Area Council of Governments. And so those are 2 positions that are that are expiring on August 31st, 2027. For the positions for actually this run, which will expire on August 31st, 2031, we have Richard Abramowitz with RMA Consultants as a representative of the general public. We also have Scott Trebus with Republic Services as a representative from a solid waste management organization composed primarily of commercial operators. They also appointed Risa Weinberger from Risa Weinberger and Associates as for the position of a person who has experience in the management and operation of composting or recycling facility, or an educator with knowledge of the design and management of solid waste facilities. Another appointment that they made was Seth Cunningham with New Gen Strategies and Solutions as a representative of the financial community. They also approved Jeffrey Mayfield as the council president, with his term expiring on August 31st of 2027. So those were the 6 appointments, and also the appointment of Jeff as the council president. We still have 4 openings. They're all elected officials. An elected official from a municipality with a population of 750,000 or more. An elected official from a municipality with a population of 100,000 or more, but less than 750,000. An elected official from a municipality with a population of 25,000 or more, but less than 100,000. And an elected official from a county with a population less than 150,000. So we're continuing to reach out with partners, or 2 partners, to the different council of governments, the Texas Association of Regional Councils. We have had some contact with Texas Municipal League. We've also are putting out the word for these openings on social media, and we'll continue to work at trying to get nominees for these positions. So congratulations to everybody. You'll be getting a notice letter here pretty soon. And so those will be our new folks that will join us starting for 2 of them, starting actually today, and for the other 4 whose appointments expire on August 31st, 2031, they become eligible on September 1. Any questions?
No, I'll just say congratulations to everybody that got reappointed, and also I appreciate Robin and Judge Dillard for participating on this council on the elected official side. As Santos was saying, we struggle mightily and for a very long time to have those various categories filled, and anytime we get somebody, it's appreciated. So thank you for that.
The nomination process is open and remains open, and at any time that we get applications, we still do our review on them. But they're eligible for appointment, or at least consideration by the commission for appointment. And so at any time, if you all run into someone or want to nominate someone, please have them send in their application and all of the other information that's needed, and we will assess and provide for consideration. So again, nominations are open for those open positions all through the year.
Yep. Am I correct that for the elected officials, we allow a proxy to attend? Is that right? I know that was discussed. I can't remember if that's formal. Okay.
That's correct. Yes, they and of course, even though we have had in-person meetings, they're also the proxies are also have the opportunity to join us virtually. So again, making it as flexible as we can for those counties, those municipalities to have representation on the council.
And Santos mentioned it, but the commissioners definitely wanted to pass along their thank you and gratitude for all the members serving. All three of them expressed their thanks and gratitude during the meeting. That thank you for the new members and thank you for the members continuing to serve. They very much value the input that you provide the agency and the commissioners. So just want to pass that along. Thank you all.
Thanks. And I believe Tom Parker with filling the scrap tire or waste tire processor position, he had to address the council maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago or something like that. And I believe there was even an opening at that time, and people had half jokingly, half seriously said, you got to apply if you're interested. And I guess he did.
Yes, that was one of the first applications that we got, and again, with the with commissioners' agenda, sometimes we're kind of limited as to when we can put it on there. There's also a long process for us to put the nominations on their agenda for consideration, and so we just kind of logged that nomination that for consideration with the open session.
Great.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thanks, Santos. Appreciate it. Okay, then next in our relatively short agenda today, we have approval of the meeting highlights, and everybody was provided a copy of that in the email packet that went out. And I guess we'll look for if there's first of all any recommended or suggested changes to it, and if not, motion to approve in a second.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, this is Chuck.
I didn't catch the who made the initial motion.
This was Brock. Sorry.
Oh, Brock. Okay, great. Yeah. Chuck was second. Okay. All right. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or any discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. And I saw Scott voted via chat, so sounds like he's present right now. Okay, action items and Q&A. Do we have any action items?
Jeff, do we need to? I'm sorry, Megan. Go ahead. My bad.
I was going to say emailing the list of bills, I think, was the only action item I had.
Okay.
Jeff, do we have a vice president to take your place since you've been very correctly and appropriately elevated to president?
Not yet. So I kind of viewed it as I just filled in for Dave. And so I view my term starting September. So I think at our next meeting, I'll address that.
Perfect.
But thank you for bringing that up as a reminder, not only to me, but to everybody that's got an action to occur.
Does that mean you're interested, Chuck?
Oh, I had my time in the fish barrel there, but.
Jeff, this is Judge Dillard.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is proper place or not, but I'm in the Concho Valley Council of Governments area. We were hit by the floods. I know that TCEQ MSWRRAC has received, or I think has received, a letter from Jenny Lewis Ford saying thank you, and John Austin Stevens, my ARCOG director, and myself. TCEQ has allowed other COGs that have not been affected to send grant money for solid waste management to the COGs that have been affected for debris cleanup and everything else. And everybody's just wanting to send a big thank you on that to TCEQ and MSWRRAC. Thank you.
That's great to hear. So is there I'm assuming there's some sort of process that you go through to make that. I don't know if that's initiated with the COG or through the TCEQ. I don't know if anybody on staff has any thoughts or comments on that.
I know they have given permission already, and it has to be managed by the COGs themselves for the debris, but there is a lot in our area. We're not as hard hit as Kerr County. But we were hit, and we're going to use money wisely through the COG.
Okay.
So this is Santos again. So we have had questions from the 4 COGs that are affected, and we are working with them at using some of the funding that they still have to be able to provide some relief, some support on emergency debris cleanups, and so we're working with that. The hard thing about this storm hitting in July is that their contracts expire on August 31st. That's one thing. The other thing too is that a lot of their funding has already been allocated and in many cases already spent on local projects. But one of the things that we experience in that too is that a lot of the projects sometimes come in with actual costs below the proposed costs for those projects, and so they do have some outstanding funding right now that they can use. And so we're continuing to staff is continuing to have discussions with COGS as well as our legal department and our contract folks just to make sure that we're anything that they can do is within the contract requirements and standards. So we're continuing to work as we help the COGS and local governments respond to the situations that they see locally.
Santos, we thank you for that. Every little bit helps.
Yeah. Okay. We have, I think next is public comments. Any public comments?
Please raise your hand if you have public comment. Anybody in the public on the meeting? No hands were raised. I can't see who's on the phone, but if you're on the phone, you can press star 5 to raise your hand. And I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Okay. I don't really have any closing remarks. This was a fairly short meeting, and for our next one, which is scheduled for October 9, if anybody has any thoughts or ideas of what they'd like to have a discussion or a presentation on, please reach out to Anna, and we'll see about getting something like that incorporated into the agenda. And I think other than that, I don't have anything else.
Jeff, I got one more thing. I'm sorry. Are we considering going to virtual only meetings, or is this a one-time thing?
Anna, do you want to address that with this, this, why we did it this way?
Yeah, the room I had booked for it, it was needed for something else. So this one is virtual starting in October. We're back in the agenda room, back in building E. And it's already booked. And then pretty soon I'm going to set up the meetings for next, for the next fiscal year for y'all to approve at the October meetings. But I'm also going to, book the rooms for those days, in case y'all say yes to all the dates that I picked.
And there will still be the option for virtual. Is that correct?
Yes, it would still be the option. It'll be a hybrid meeting.
Hybrid. Okay. Great. Okay. I don't have anything else. So I think we are adjourned, and we'll see everybody October 9. Thanks for your participation.